man named Zeljko Ražnatović, or ARKAN as he's known. This former bank robber is head of a Serbian paramilitary gang called the Tigers, which is held responsible for some of the worst ethnic cleansing massacres. For crimes against humanity, there's an arrest warrant out for him in every country on earth. Yet there he was, large as life, when Richard Carlton checked into a Belgrade hotel this week.
With the cocktail bar pianist playing Skriagan and NATO bombs falling just 300 metres up the road, it was an odd scene. Surrounded by bodyguards, ARKAN sat having coffee with his sister-in-law, a friend and the third wife, the beauty queen and pop singer Tetsa. The world's most wanted war criminal seemed serene and untroubled.
It's almost a surreal experience to be sitting here in a luxury hotel room in Belgrade talking to, well, possibly the most wanted person in the world.
I have to say I'm flattered to be the most wanted man in the world.
I mean, up close, you've got, I don't mean to be too personal, but you've got almost a baby face, and you're accused of heinous crimes.
Yes, I know.
ARKAN today is a charming, rather plump, solid citizen, baby-faced, but in fact he's a killer who is a total barefaced liar.
Chris Sivic of London's Institute of International Affairs has followed ARKAN's career closely.
He never tells the truth, and that is the great strength of him again. He's a professional killer who is also a very good liar, but on top of that he's charming.
Charming? Well, perhaps. But he's the killer behind heinous crimes that have disgusted the civilized world. In Bosnia, his very name struck fear into Muslim communities. Just news of the approach of ARKAN's Tigers caused villagers to flee in panic.
For example, with women it meant raping. It meant raping in the presence of members of their families so that everybody could watch this. It meant occasionally the great cruelty of cutting out of a pregnant woman's tummy a child that was waiting to be born. It meant also occasionally gouging people's eyes, because that is a very traditional, very old and barbaric gesture, which again leaves people terrified of falling into their hands.
The view in the West about you is that you are possibly the most cold-blooded killer that the end of this century has seen.
Your public wants you to make an interview with a cold-blooded murderer, the most wanted man, but I'm not that. I'm sorry. I have to disappoint you.
I mean, you admit to killing many, many people.
In a fair fight.
In battle?
In a battle, only in a battle.
But how many people do you admit that you killed up close with a knife or a pistol?
No, it's forbidden. In my army, it's forbidden to kill with a knife. We are not butchers. We kill in a fair fight. You know what is fair fight. You are from Australia, probably you are...
Long way.
Yeah, long way, and you don't have wars there, you know. But the fight is hunting. The fight is hunting.
The crime that has put ARKAN on the world's most wanted list occurred near Vukovar back in 1991. It's now 6 years since I first reported that story for 60 Minutes.
As the Serbian troops closed in on Vukovar, those who'd survived the siege were told to come out of their shelters and gather here by the hospital, because it was from here that an evacuation would take place. But before the evacuation could begin, the victorious Serbian troops singled out the Croatian male patients and took them away in buses. It was 11 o'clock in the morning, and they had 7 hours left to live.
With the testimony of witnesses and the subsequent forensic inquiries, it is for this massacre that ARKAN has been indicted by the War Crimes Tribunal in The Hague.
Tell me about that night in Vukovar. 250, 260 men in the basement of the hospital, hiding there. You came and collected them, took them a few miles out of town to a farmhouse, held them there for a short while, and then trucked them half a mile down the road, 50 at a time, and then cold-bloodedly executed them into a grave that had been dug for them.
I told you before, that was not even my responsibility. I never went in Vukovar in that time. My responsibility was till the Vuka River. And Vuka River, it's not Vukovar.
Did it happen at all?
I don't know. That's what you are telling me. That's what the Croats are telling to the world.
Amongst the men that were held at the farmhouse and then trucked down to the gravesite, some escaped, a couple, and some have identified you.
Not even one. No one identified me.
If they get you to the War Crimes Tribunal, though, and you're up behind the bulletproof glass, he's on the other side, and he says, he was there, I saw him.
Impossible. Impossible. But because I was not there.
ARKAN's reign of terror was, say investigators, not the work of some lunatic. Rather, it was a coldly calculated campaign to inflict the utmost suffering and psychological harm.
They come in, they tell people to get out of their houses. They commit atrocities, such as, for example, attacking men of the family, mutilating them in front of members of their own family, raping women very spectacularly in the presence of other members of the family, in some cases killing children if this produces an effect. And the whole idea is to produce absolutely maximum terror and panic among the people. Then the next thing that happens is allowing some survivors to get out, to tell the tale elsewhere. And in this way, of course, whole areas can be emptied very, very quickly.
See, the claim, though, about you is that even putting aside Vukovar, that Omarska, what they called the death camp up near Prijedor, Banja Luka, that there you and your troops did absolutely heinous things.
No,
cutting men's penises off, sticking them in their mouth, knifing
just you have to stop, because you have to understand one thing. I was never there. I went in the... It was too late when I went there. There were no camps when I went there. There is no nothing. So you're talking of things, you're accusing the Serbs, not me. You're accusing, through me, you want to accuse all the Serbs. And it's not fair. My units, they fought against Muslim units. They remembered my units very well. And they fought against the Croatian troops in the first row, face by face. I killed many of them, and they killed many of my soldiers. I have my wounded soldiers, and I have my dead soldiers. And in a fair fight, we used to fight. You are telling me that I was fighting with the children and with the wives and with the civilians. That's not simply true.
That's the claim.
So that's not true. So don't give me that, please.
ARKAN represents himself as an innocent accused, just a soldier, a father of 9 and a grandfather. A man who likes to spend his leisure hours at the soccer as owner of Yugoslavia's top team, Obilic. He invited us to a game, a friendly, against a second division side, and seemed blissfully unconcerned that there was a war going on.
Isn't it a bit strange to be playing football when the country's at war? I mean, NATO bombers could come over.
Yeah, but it's the dignity of Yugoslav people. Don't you understand?
I'm trying to
we don't care
understand.
for bombs. We're not afraid of bombs. That's it.
I mean, it's quite possible for the air raid siren to go off now in the middle of the game.
Why not?
Would you stop the game if they did?
No, we are not going to stop the game. We are training when the sirens are on. We don't give a damn. Really, we don't give a damn.
ARKAN knows Australia well, and when he was looking to boost his football team, he flew in a new coach from Melbourne.
What do you think of this bloke?
My president?
Yeah.
President says good president.
He's a good president?
Yes.
He's not a war criminal?
No criminal. Never.
Do people say that about him?
People say that, and all people criminal.
With 5 members of the national side from ARKAN's team, when the national team competes abroad, he can't go along. All United Nations member countries are obliged to arrest him if he sets foot on their soil. He's not even totally safe in Belgrade.
But you see, in the real world, they're out there to get you. And look, I'm just a fraction nervous being with you. Not because I'm not so much scared of you, but at any moment, if the West Special Forces could race in the door and grab you, they would.
I don't give a damn. I told you before, I really don't give a damn if the Special Force or not Special Force, what can you do?
But you can't leave Serbia, can you?
I can go everywhere I like.
Yeah,
it's up to me. It's up to me.
But if you leave this country, you're a dead man.
Yeah, but why you are threatening me all the time? You're a dead man, you will be arrested, you this. I really don't give a damn, don't you understand? I am 47 years old, and I told you before that I live every day as a lion. I'm not afraid, you know. During the war, I never went down on the ground. I was always standing on my legs. So the bullet could hit me if God said so. I'm not afraid of dying. And I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm a hero in this country. In this country, people love me. I love my people. I love my country. And that's why I'm a war criminal.
For 32 days straight now, NATO has been bombing Serbia, and the physical damage is enormous. Serbs can't understand why it's happening. Those stories of refugees, they're all lies, Western propaganda. It's with that mindset and in this environment that men like ARKAN are forgiven their crimes and hailed as patriots.
In summary, guilty or not guilty? A war criminal?
Of course not guilty. Of course not a war criminal. Only a Serbian patriot. Defending my country and my people. Nothing else.
Crimes against humanity, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty, of course.
Mass murderer?
Not guilty, of course.